Yeah, I haven't prepared like so many presentation. I like to keep things more engaging. As we have this, I would say, a little bit more challenging environment, and I will be a first presenter who going a little bit outside of the scientific setting, outside of academy. I'm trying to tell you how the things coming to the true fruition when you go out and do a commercializing your business. Many times you will need to find money somewhere outside of the research funding approaches and basically just go out. We at Nation1 we are a venture fund who funding the projects in the very early stage. We are happy to be a first investor. We are happy to be also the second investor in the same company. We are check fund, international structure for partners, pretty much. So I would just basically say like what we really doing, because we in the essence we are general purpose fund, and our investment philosophy is basically looking for project who has like positive impact on society, which we like, which we prefer, and where we see the business potential. Even we are investment fund or institutional investors, I used to call. We are still people, and the partners basically looking the businesses they are happy to help. Currently, we basically working with variety of companies, and recently we also working with the medtech and more R&D companies as well. I'm thinking how we'll make it a little bit more interactive, because I just see on one screen I cannot see any chat. So because if I will just talk, it will be like gone really quickly. So I will keep a little bit about just for your understanding. If you are in academy and you just basically finishing your PhD, or you're finishing your PhD or finishing your postdoc, so you have enough academic knowledge to apply it, enough patents, enough papers in Nature, hopefully, and you're looking to okay, so I need to commercialize it. So what I should do? Basically, what you should do, it's looking for the business partner outside. One who will deliver you resources as money, deliver you a roadmap or road to success as a network, and someone who will join your team. And as you guess, basically are two different parties. One party which will help you to scale, and one party which help to develop. The best experience that we have from the parties to our spin-off from universities, when there is a business person will joining the team of scientists. They just go really good hint for you. Many times it's really hard to be a scientist and to be on top of your field and to be CEO as well. To be CEO and to be business person, and for it's not many people has this ability to put it forward. That's just the saying, because we have an investment in the medtech companies, which I will come to later, where they need to really carefully thinking who is responsible for what. So the to seeing what's the strong and weakness is. So I will probably a little bit go like what we see supposed to do for you. So what the venture capital in the sense, it's a company who's seeking high risk project with the high potential return, and we try to create ecosystem to assess the team readiness, to assess support company management. So basically teach you how to do a company governance, not in the level of the law, but the level of the practice. So if you have your CEO, let's say the CEO can be fired by the management board, or what is the general meeting means in the Czech law or international law, what means to create a go-to-market strategy. This is really touchy point, because go-to-market strategy is something which you don't know until you're going out and basically trying to sell your product, which most research team, they think and they hope that the pharma firm will buy it. But many times they are hugely misled by thinking inside a bubble. just to say from experience. Also, the venture capital firm will help you to adjust the go-to-market strategy and looking for how it helps you to grow. So looking on the scalability issues in your company. And end of the cycle, as we are institutional investor, we have a life cycle of our fund or our funds. We usually have more funds, and we need to help you to be exited or deliver you the partner for the further investment. Just please, I don't see the chat window. It's really bad. I don't know if someone asked any questions, and it's not good. Okay, we'll carry on. So what we invested so far, we invested 12 companies by early this week, but I haven't had a chance to change presentation. But what we invest in companies from various backgrounds. So we invest in the company who do really top class hardware development, like the engineers. They create virtuality goggles, which are used for the training of the pilots. They have a partial research in Brno, partial research in Prague. Using the chips from Israeli army, like quite on top of game research project. They haven't been created from academia, unfortunately. But I will come to one which is academia, which is MindPacks, which is one below, and it's the application to help. It's a medical device, so it's past CE mark now it's started to be used in Germany. It's helping GPs to track their, I would say, people with in English it's always still the same. Okay, mental illnesses. Sorry, yeah, they're treating people with mental illnesses. The whole project it's coming from the research, which was done pretty much 10 years ago. Then was bought by, I think, by Novartis. And these guys came partially from the business and academia, and basically help it out to spread it out and apply this research, this clinical study in the practice. I know that story, it's quite long. It took them 2 years to become something worth it to be invested. Now they are a flourishing company, and especially nowadays of coronavirus, when you can basically treating people sufficiently through telehealth, it's a huge win. Another company which are also really on R&D and do a really great research about computer vision from it's a Precisma, which is on the down right corner, and they, for example, doing the mathematical modulation of the objects in virtual reality as well. They basically, if you probably know a little bit about that, you nowadays it's still doing like you will take 300 pictures of the same object, then you will create a cloud maps, and then you try to connect them to create a really precise picture. And they master it. They also now in the patent research to basically to be patented by end of this year. Also, the moving and to holding IP was not easy task. Many IP lawyers, as you heard the presentation before, it's not easy process. It's quite cumbersome, and still, it's just so far from to be idle. That's maybe I'll just say our portfolio, because as we are general purpose fund, some of the other projects are not that much scientific. So if you have any question about others, just let me know. We really looking for something which has sense. So, and the topic which I think it's mostly touching you as the audience, which I want to talk about the most, it's what we see as a main value in spin-off companies. And the spin-off company, it doesn't really matter. It's a spin-off company from the university, from research group, from under the company. It's pretty much always the same. Company or the people in the company identify the problem with something. Let's say they find a new, promising drug or promising patterns in the diagnosis, and now they feel, yeah, let's try to make a company from it. So they will do a spin-off. They maybe do a IP, IP transfer, which is super hard many times. It's really need to be defined now who touch it ever in the life cycle of the invention. They try to a nationalized patent if it's going from the national scientific institution, stuff like that. And this all it's super hard. The main issues which we see, it's the people are quite reluctant and stubborn to understand the two main things that investor need to protect. He need to protect intellectual property, and he need to protect execution team. That's pretty much 99.5% of all success. If we see you know how to gather your IP and protect it, and you are fully committed to the project, then you are investable, or you are considered to be investable by external resources, especially if it's private investor or institutional investors as we are. Just to be completely sure, and this is a many discussion with academic people, if you want to become a major shareholder of the spin-off company, kind of you need to leave your job. Sorry to saying that too roughly. I have many people hate me for that, because yes, I'm telling them to leave their scientific academy and to work on their new idea or spin-off idea for full time. It's quite hard. It's a long process. It's a long process. Let's say if you have you're a postdoc, you have your team, you have your commitments and your grants signed to align your commitment for next 5 years, it's pretty much impossible you will become a CEO of this cool company, commercialize your research from 5 years ago. It's you can become a co-founder or something like that, but usually your ownership will be less than 10%, and you will be rather investor or advisor towards the company, but you cannot become a leader. This is a huge problem with many professors who find a way how to commercialize, or they want to find a way how to commercialize the research which they led, but they already built some, really, let's say, powerful research teams, especially they get the public money for that. It's really how to do that. So as they're going to be ready with like IP protection, that's basically no doubt. You need to be sure your university will not sue you using their intellectual property. You need to figure out what the price for the royalty, because usually the royalties are part of it. You need to have NDAs with basically everyone who touch hands on that. You need to have a clean cap table. Cap table means your shareholder structure, which means you don't have any dead wood on that cap table, which means someone who are not working full time and taking 25% of your company just because he helped you out to spin it off, for example. It's not really because you're looking for a company who should live for 5 to 10 years, and you need to be ready with some tests and direction to say, okay, let's say I find this pattern in urine and blood tests, which can diagnose thing ABC. I have this clinical study, but I also need to have a go-to-market strategy. So I need to know, okay, should I do a CE mark? Should it will be safe to B2B to other labs? Can I sell it directly to the customer? Can I sell it directly to the doctor? And stuff like that. This is really, really important for any scientific or academic spin-off to basically know, okay, now when I'm ready to take this value and I clean it from all the strings from the past, what I can do with that. Unfortunately, many times we also run into companies who went through this process and they basically are not solving pains on the market. So can you give you like a really good example, especially with the diagnosis markers. You go out and you just realize you are maybe slightly better than competition. and the slightly better doesn't sell. So then you did all this work, and you basically wasting your potential. Or not wasting your potential, wasting your time, because no one will basically test it until, or invest it until you clean it out. And okay, so hopefully just to be sure, like this is the thing how the investors, private or institutional, thinking about, and that's what we want for you. Another part which I would like to spend some time, it's it's why choose investment? Like, why not basically just do a spin-off and do another so much grant money which I will write, and you can get money from commercialization, you can get money from growth, you can get like lots of grants. Nowadays, European Union, Czech Republic, Slovak, any country has their European grant authorities and national grant authorities. It's just a lot of money, pretty much everywhere, and just hard to resist to think, oh yeah, I don't invest. I don't need anyone who will telling me how should run my business. I don't want anyone to basically just but bad guys. The venture capital, it's like free. Private investor even more free. And so I try to settle the comparison how it's really kind of like work with the grant, as hopefully most of you wrote any grant for the academic research. In the public setting, it's not much different. So you are super capable to write it. Most issues which you have, it's quite a long time to get money on account. The applications are very focused. So basically for the commercial, let's say go to phase 2 for the Horizon 2020, and you will easily write 20 pages about what you're going to do next 2 years in the big detail, and the board for the examination will go really thoroughly to that. And the thing, you are not flexible much. As you said it once, it's quite hard to go back and say, sorry guys, Corona hit, or I convinced you there is a customer, or I convinced you there is a partnership, but it didn't work out, and I just need to amend A, B, and C. Again, will be monthly cycles to renegotiate the things. So that's why I saw that they don't really that the planning for the long term, it's not that easy with early stage companies. If you are a big research center and the next 5 years you will do a diagnosis for X, writing grant for 3 years, it's kind of easy, because you can say I will do these 10 things and you will mostly do them. Another thing which it's bad on the grant, it's they don't focus on long-term commitment. So if you have people for the grant who will run 1 year, the people should be committed for 1 year. After that, like the knowledge can spread. So there is not containment on your intellectual property, on of the knowledge property, because that's another thing which cannot even assess by law. It basically people as a team works, how team is smooth, how team can work. And even though most of the grant application expecting from you to bring some private money. So again, you are many times will not run away from the private investors or institutional investors. And yeah, the last one, which is a little bit dubious, the IP and patent protection can be questionable. It will be discussed like which parties will be on, because the grant application will not protect it. So the grant application will not force you to create a patent, or you can say we will create a patent from that, but they will not force you to fulfill the IP protection. It's pretty much in your best consciousness, but most grants, let's say your Horizon 2020, will not really tell you you should protect your IP or your knowledge. That's on your part. Apart from the investments, usually private or institutional, you will probably, if everything goes smoothly, have a money on account in 3 months. I'm saying 3 months because that's the practice. Of course, we can, if we are super convinced and this opportunity feeling, we can send money in 2 weeks. But it's a relationship. We are investing for long term. We're investing usually between 3 to 7 years. So we just need to know you. Any investor who invests in you need to know you. at least a little bit to assess his feelings, risk, and to align you with the future. The money are usually for business focus and working capital. So we will focus for next 6 months, let's say, or 9. So when you need to be really sure and to basically sell us the future, sell us the vision, and then we becoming your partners. So if the business change, we are happy to change with it. It's not like that, like we will not tell you, oh yeah, you didn't see the coronavirus. Oh yeah, you screwed, bye-bye. It's usually we are invested into you and we committed to your project. So we will helping you to find the way to go around coronavirus. Or let's say change a private business for the time until we are in quarantine. How to figure out to keep your employees happy and be paid and stuff like that. And so we really focusing on the team and its development, because more, as I mentioned on the beginning, the most value is in the team and IP. In your case, in some of our investment, it's just people. And when we are starting with the so when we are looking for what we can do next, we're not providing you investments for like 2 years as the grant can do. We usually do it for 12 to 14 months, and then we discussing the next fundraising with us or with under the fund, which we help you to find and maybe even negotiate. So you will not be in position like, the planning of a fundraising itself, it can be quite hard because we are people, we look in short term. And if the company come to you and have like 2 months runaway, so it means they have 2 months money on their bank account before they need to close the shop, it's quite bad to negotiate. And that's the most companies go default. And the last part, we really focus on the IP protection and patent practices. It's something which we, with the team, we cherish the most in any other investment. And this is our investment team. We are 4 partners: Marek, Jaroslav, Petra, and myself. I would say most of us are not only one of us has a finance background. My background is a software engineering, data science. I went to Oxford. Marek Moravec was partially developer, partially business. Petra, she was running the acceleration programs in the Node 5 Prague. Jaroslav was the first of the employees of the Credo Ventures, our first venture capital fund in Czech Republic. And I'm kind of on time. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Martin.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I just tried to.
Yes, I forgot to activate the microphone.
Stop sharing.
Thank you very much. I would like to have one question, just a very quick one. How long, in concern to the timeline, I would like to know how long do you spend on a partner, like from the start, from the team readiness to the finish, when you decide to either exit the cooperation?
Do you have any questions?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was mixing up my mic. I would like to thank you very much, Martin. And I would like to ask just one quick question. How long do you spend on average on a partner from the start, from the team readiness to the time till you decide to exit the cooperation?
You mean to exit or start cooperation?
Or just if you have ever or start a cooperation, yes, to start the funding or to cooperation with a partner.
Usually it's between like 3 to 6 months. It really depends on the readiness of the project and how far with the blockers. Because let's say if they are not ready with IP protection or with other, it's we basically then advising them what to do to be investable. So it's quite depends. I have one research project which I spoken since September last year, and they are still basically not ready.
Okay. Thank you very much.